touching on that, actually, can you believe it's like going on 40 years since you did those first episodes?
36, mate. Going on 40.
36.
About
40.
I'm old. It's 40 for me.
Don't age him anymore. He'll die.
Yeah.
Does it feel like that as you look back on those great memories all those years ago?
Yeah, it's weird, actually.
Very strange.
Kind of like a blink of an eye, isn't it?
Yeah. 30. So you've been doing it 36, have you?
I've been doing it 36, 1988, so...
You know, broadcast 88, filmed 87.
Filmed 87, so yeah, longer.
Can't do the maths. That's too long for me to work out.
I knew these guys when they had hair.
It's true.
I can feel there's 3 hairs there.
You know, I knew them when they had hair, mate.
Yeah, I gutted that I've gone bald with all of them. I used to take the mickey out of Norman Lovett royally for his bald head. Now he just looks at
He's
me
got more hair than you now.
He's got, I know, that's the thing, and he looks at you like that and he goes
And I was with Chris Barrie in Prague, bald as a coot.
Is he? I haven't seen him for a while.
He's lost a lot more.
Oh, my goodness. Poor Chris. Oh,
God.
He was gorgeous back in the day. Oh, he was gorgeous. All the ladies loved Chris.
Oh, yes.
Good buttocks.
He has a magnificent pair of buttocks, ladies and gentlemen.
Should have really started in bottom.
I want to talk about Chris, actually, because...
Yeah, let's talk about him. He's not
just
here.
For a moment.
What a dickhead.
Was he in bottom? Yeah. Was Chris in bottom?
No.
Robert
was in bottom.
That would be another show with arse in it, Brit arse.
36 years. Having to explain the joke to him. No, bottom. We were talking about his buttocks, so it was... People wonder why I drink.
I was only mentioning Chris because a man of a certain age, I grew up in the 80s watching these programmes, and the first time I ever saw Chris on telly, I was an impressionist when I was young, and Mike Yarwood was always and before Mike Yarwood, there was nobody on telly until Chris came on Pebble Mill. Can you remember Pebble Mill, anyone? If you're old, and he came on and he did Margaret Thatcher. He used to do this Margaret Thatcher impersonation. And I sat there thinking, there's a man doing a female impersonator, and he's one of the first ones. And I sat back and just went, wow, isn't this cool, isn't it? And he was before his time, wasn't he? Because he was doing things that not many people had done in that time.
Yeah. His Brian Clough was brilliant, wasn't it?
Brian Clough was
now, young man.
Young man.
Wrong show, you twat.
It's 2:15.
Isn't
it? At the end of the rap party in the early days, sort of in the early 90s, Chris used to do a little skit. Yeah. He was in it. He was there. He remembers.
That's Chris.
That's Chris. It's Chris behind the curtain.
He's gone up in the world.
He'd do a little skit and he'd make fun of like the director and one of the cameramen and the sound guy and all those things. And then he'd do Craig doing, a brilliant impression of Craig, fantastic impression of Danny. And then he'd do this like middle class tosser. It sounded a bit like Cliff Richards, and everyone else was laughing except me. I didn't know who the hell that was.
He used to do everybody, didn't he?
Yeah. I didn't get mine actually, to be honest.
Did you not?
No. I don't know.
I always like to take people back to the beginning and the origins of these shows, yeah?
Yeah.
And the first time that, obviously, you saw that script, you saw what it was about, and what was it about your characters in particular that jumped off that script when you first saw them in that read-through?
Well, for me, it was the first time I'd read a script where all the characters jumped off the page, and the subject matter, and then I thought when I read my part, I was like, "Who's he talking to?" Because you just read it, and I'm expecting someone to come into the scene or come out of the cupboard or something, and of course he was like, he's talking to himself. So okay, I get it, but all of the characters jumped off the page for me.
Yeah, I like the early ones. The first two series before Robert joined. The really funny ones.
Yeah.
Before Robert got on board. Robert's been in the show 34 years and we still call him the new boy.
It's true. Yeah. It's true. And I'm the oldest member of the fucking cast.
Yeah, but for me, it was just like, I don't know. When I read it, I went, what? I just thought they were writing about me. Hang on a minute. You know what I mean? And then they said, no, Craig, we don't want you to be the cat. So I make myself laugh anyway.
Yeah. I can't even remember. I know that I'm in it, and I know I did it, and I've seen it on the telly, so I know I was there, but I can't remember anything about it. No, I think the thing that always reminds me why we do it is when we read it. When we read the scripts the first time, when we sit down for the table read, the first time we've seen anything to do with the new series, that's when I go, oh, this is why we do this. And then I think at the end of that reading, we go, oh my God, this is going to be really difficult, because you read it. And it's funny, that's when we laugh. We'll laugh at the lines that we've got or that the other people have got. And that's amazing. That's the nearest we'll ever get to what you get when you watch an episode for the first time. And
that was the best part. That was the best part, wasn't it? Reading it on Monday.
Yeah, yeah.
That was the best part of the week, because what would happen, you go, right, the end, and then everyone would look at each other, and Craig would go, I haven't got any gags, man.
Yeah, because I'm Welsh.
That was my best Hungarian.
No, I mean, you'd read it, then you think, oh, it's funny and all that. Then you think, God, how are we going to film that? Yeah. And I've got to remember that and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Yes. Remembering things. I've got a really good memory. It's stunning.
Memory is not Robert's forte. Luckily, he has me to stand next to.
There have been occasions where I've come in with complete confidence to a scene and gone, sir, we've got and a long speech, and everybody's looking at me going, what? That's from the next scene. So I've got the right lines, just the wrong scene. That's happened more than once. That's kind of embarrassing.
Robert's memory saved my reputation on Red Dwarf, because I was the one with the bad memory before he joined.
When
we always get through it. We always get through it. In the end.
When would you get a script? Because I know I've spoken to soap stars over the years, and you know this, Craig. These soap stars get their scripts like sometimes the day before, a few days before, and it's incredible that they put all that in their memory. And you go out on set. Yes, there's retakes, but it's incredible that these people remember all that. How did you do that as a process? You get that script not very far before production starts, and then you go on set.
Yeah, you know, getting your script the day before is luxury, because sometimes we get scripts in between scenes.
On the night of filming, you know, after the dress rehearsals, we'd have a brand new script. I'd be like, what? You know what I mean? So, because, you know, you do the dress rehearsal and you think, oh, that's not really working, that. Let's do something else. And then you've got a brand new... Sometimes it's okay when you're in Starbug, because... I shouldn't really tell you this, but like... sometimes when we're all like that, there's an auto cue right in fucking front of us like that.
Yeah, we did a whole.
How's it going, Kat?
Yeah. We did a whole episode on auto cue, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the audience never knew.
Let me just, because this was when Rob and Doug were still working together.
Yeah.
And we saw them in the corner where the auto cue, the woman who operates the auto cue sits, and she wasn't there, and they were there typing, and I went, what are they doing there?
Yeah.
And then we looked at our auto cues, and the lines that we knew were disappearing and reappearing, and this is when there's an audience in the waiting for the scene to start. So it wasn't like the day before, it was as we were filming that episode, you'd see your lines change. Sir, we have to go through the star cluster. No, sir, we have to go around the back of the star cluster. Fuck, the lines keep changing.
Yeah, but we got screwed one time because the late scene wasn't in Starbug, so we had to have the scripts in between our legs on the floor. So when the camera cut away from you, you'd look at your next shot, and then get out for the camera shot. We did.
I'm sure there's isn't there one in the Smeg Ups or something like that where I've got Crichton's speech taped to the back of my head.
Because I'm standing behind you,
yeah. And then we couldn't do that anymore because he ended up needing glasses, so he couldn't even read it. You're like,
hold on, there was a worse one than that. Don't you remember when you had it on your head?
Yeah.
You was looking at your head.
God, embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating.
With the audience, did you ever kind of do a gag or do a scene, then the audience kind of went, and then you kind of thought, right, we need to change that? Was it improvised as that sometimes?
No, I mean, I think.
Or we just run with it?
Because people think sometimes we improvise scenes. Seriously, we didn't improvise. I mean, everything you saw on the screen
all scripted.
Was very well scripted. Occasionally, we would add a little stinger at the end. Literally once a series. It was very rare that we would actually add, but occasionally they would include that. But I can't remember what the question was now.
It's about
36 years.
It's about changing the scene if when there's a live audience.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we have to really acknowledge Doug's writing, particularly in the last few years. That never, I don't remember that ever happening. That we'd go, I think that's a big laugh, that line, but you never know, you're never sure. It always was. I don't remember going, oh, this line's going to slay, and then nothing happens. They're very reliable.
There are lines when we're in rehearsals where we've turned around and said, no, you can't say that. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
There was one on the last one. I hope no one's ill here, but there was one on the last one where Rimmer turns around to Crichton and says, "What would you know about it, chemo boy?" Right, and we all went,
"Ooh, no,
you can't say that."
Ooh.
So there's always trying to push the fold and get and go to the edge, but try and not leap off it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That was definitely a leap.
No,
that was a big leap. That one. Yeah.
I think there's only one gag that I said, Doug, right, because he wrote a great gag and then changed it. I went, what? No. And he said, what? I goes, no one don't know, because it was you nearly never got Deader Than Tank Tops, because he changed it from tank tops to seersucker. And I went, no one ain't gonna know what that is. And he went, no. I said, you sure, Doug? So anyway, I said, okay, let's test it at rehearsal, dress rehearsal. So, we always used to judge it by the crew. Anyway, I did seersucker. Whoop.
I quite like a tank top, mate.
I love a tank top.
Yeah. And you got a massive laugh tank top.
Yeah.
And then Doug was just looking at me with that red face and the eyes.
Can I just ask you about the creators, obviously Doug and Rob? When I do the Doctor Who one, we'll talk about Russell and Russell T and Stephen Moffat before their time, absolute geniuses in writing. When you were growing up, what was your inspirations? What sci-fi were you into? Were you into any sci-fi when you actually grew up as a kid?
I don't know. When I was younger, Doctor Who was not its best, if you know what I mean. It kind of had a dip. They didn't have any budget or anything, did they?
I mean, yes, I have to admit that I'm old enough to have seen the very first Doctor Who in the early 1960s. I remember it very well, and it was amazing. I loved it, and I was terrified of Daleks. So sitting here with that noise behind me, glad I'm sitting down, and if you can get some tissue later on, I'll be grateful.
Yeah.
But, no, really amazing stuff. But then, I was very into the Munsters. That was one of my favourite shows. Dad's Army, all those classic sort of British sitcoms. Steptoe and Son, absolutely perfect for me. I loved it.
Well, that's where you nick Crichton from, Herman Munster.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But it wasn't conscious. But it is definitely Fred Gwynne, who played Herman Munster, was hugely because he was a gentle giant, and I think that was the thing about Crichton, was that he's not a killer robot. He's very oh my God.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Dalek.
That was last night's curry.
That curry was forte.
That wasn't even Vindaloo, that. That was a borderline Madras.
That's disgusting.
What about you, Danny?
What was the question?
I've got them written down.
See, I was... John Pertwee was my doctor from my generation, and I had the pleasure of actually meeting him at a sci-fi convention, and I went all gooey, But I was more like Thunderbirds and Joe 90 and
I love Joe 90.
Fireball XL5, all of that stuff, real sort of
Jerry Anderson stuff.
Yeah, I met his daughter at 2 days ago at a function. Yeah, couldn't believe it.
Wow.
I had the chance. I interviewed Sylvia Anderson once,
Oh,
and she brought along the original puppets.
Oh wow!
And I sat and I was just in awe.
Yeah.
I just looked at her and thought, "Wow, you changed the world for a lot of kids."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Our original special
And
effects.
none of them were as wooden as you.
No, mate. I'm more puppet than puppet. But our original special effects man was a guy called Peter Ragg, who used to do Thunderbirds.
Yeah, he did Thunderbirds.
Yeah. He showed us a fantastic picture of him.
Oh yeah,
He was quite an old fellow when we knew him, and he'd lost his hair.
Bald head, yeah.
He'd lost his hair. He's sadly passed away since then. But he showed us this picture of this young version of himself kneeling down on a motorway next to Lady Penelope's pink Rolls Royce. And it was the Rolls Royce about that long.
There was another one where he looked a bit like Sean Connery putting down what's his name? Thunderbird 1. What's his name? Virgil. No, that's Thunderbird 2. Scott,
that's it.
Putting down Scott in the set. Madness.
But can I do look? I've got to just tell you this because we did this a lot with Peter Ragg. He was our hero. He was an amazing guy. And when the Starbug crashed or there was explosions, he'd wire up all the flash things and all the explosions, and he'd come in with it. We'd all be sitting in our positions, and he'd go, "There's going to be an explosion there. Don't look that way. That will be followed by another one here.
That'll be number 1.
Another one. There's another one
number
here.
2.
2 up there.
That'll be number 3.
And then you go,
number 4.
right, I've got to go there.
Right,
so you don't get it.
there,
And then you turn that way.
Turn that
bang,
way.
straight in your face. Turn that way. Wham, in your face. All of us being blown all over the place.
You remember he did say the wires were a bit crossed there.
Yeah, I think I might have got the wires crossed up. Yeah.
Did you? He had you know that they have that big cannon that blows all the stuff out.
Yeah,
So,
you know, if
of
you use the microphone, they can hear you. Yeah. It's just one of those things, you know.
Yes. So the big cannon was
36
there.
years.
36 years.
The microphone. Dan. Don't look into the camera, Dan. Oh, shit.
Yeah. So
Go
anyway,
again. Danny looked in the camera.
Yeah.
Do it again.
So the cannon's there. So the first one's supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So of course.
We nearly got blown up that day.
It was like one, boom.
Bang. And this is like a massive sort of cannon thing.
His head
shooting out cork.
His rubber head was just peppered, stuck with corks.
Yeah, and your face all down here, mate.
Under my eye.
Yeah.
The whole studio went silent. It was like they've just killed the cast. It was dead silent. You could hear until everyone went, "We're okay."
Yeah, I'm fine.
All the risk assessments, you wouldn't be able to... It's totally changed.
There was no health and safety in them days.
No.
Oh, Peter Ragg, man.
Yeah, lovely fella.
What I'd like to do, guys, is I'm going to throw the floor open to some questions.
Oh,
hey.
I've got a... there's a gentleman up the top there. He came down to me earlier on. He asked specifically, said, "Can I ask the guys a question?"
Okay.
He's up there next to the gentleman with the checky shirt on. Yes.
Oh.
Oh, good. All right. So, Danny, you're famous for forgetting your lines, but if I remember my trivia right, at the time of filming the last episode, you were the only cast member. I don't know if it's still true that you're the only cast member who was able to correctly say cesium, frankolithic, mixyalbidium, rixidixiodoxidextroxide. Is that still the case? And for that matter, does everyone want to have a go? Because I think it would be really funny if you mock it up.
Not a hope in hell of me remembering that shit, isn't it? But I tell you what, the problem with Doug is he's very clever. So he handed that script around like it was just like, you know, three letters. He said, "Yeah, guys, look, I know you'll never learn it, but have a go." So of course that's red rag to a bull. So I went home for about 2 days and learned it. And then when I got back and learned it, he goes, "Right, you guys will have to learn it now."
I didn't.
No, nor did I. I think we said it, but I didn't say it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was petrified in front of an audience doing that one, I tell you.
It's what happened after that you should be worried about.
Oh,
what
was
happened
that?
after that?
the missing episodes, you know, after the end of series 8, when he goes to the mirror universe. Yeah. He doesn't even remember being there. He actually doesn't know what I'm talking about.
I ain't got a clue.
I'm glad I was present.
I think I'm having a senior moment.
Can I go? There's a little girl up there with the bunny ears on who wants to ask a question.
Hiya, bunny ears.
Hello.
What was your favourite episode to film?
Oh.
So to film. That's
Mine was tongue-tied.
Tongue-tied?
Just to see Chris and Craig hate me for a day.
Absolute nightmare, that.
They're them guys, I tell you, I was laughing, but I couldn't let them see me laughing because the moment those two came out in them suits and them white boots, it was you got Craig, you know, was like, it fucking dancers, it fucking, and then if Chris, it won't be that bad. He was having nightmares. He's fucking done it, John-Jules. Your fucking feet are killing me.
Put those bunny ears down a bit further, can you?
Sorry about the language.
I was saying 4 kings. 4 kings. He laughs now. They hated me, I tell you.
I've got one favourite. I think my favourite moment when we were actually filming was in Polymorph in Series 3 when I was removing the really worryingly tight boxer shorts that Lister had on.
Yeah, that was traumatic.
It was. We'd rehearsed it and we knew it would probably get a laugh, but we had to stop filming because the audience was laughing so much we couldn't hear anything. We couldn't. Yeah. When Chris came in to say "You'll bonk anything, Lister," I couldn't hear a word. So I mean, we just had to carry on. We had to carry on bonking.
That's got to go down as one of the biggest, I think, sitcoms laughs. I think.
Yeah, that was a special moment. I haven't really got special favorite episodes, but I've got like favorite scenes. So that's kind of one of them. Although I do think Back to Reality as a story was a fantastic story. You know, when we all think that we're in a game in a video game. I love that story.
That was genius. That was.
But I liked Marooned as well because it was just
me and Robert weren't in it.
Just me and Chris, you see. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, so 2 professionals. You learn your lines, you say them, you get a laugh, you go to the pub. That was good.
It's true. I loved that. I loved that episode.
Yeah. That was just very quickly, that was the very first scene I ever filmed. Was with you, Dan.
And you had reins on your head.
I had reins on. I was pulling Danny along in a sledge and they were blowing soap flakes into my eyes.
Soap flakes into his eyes. His eyes were red as beetroot.
And my eyes were glued open. It was the first time I'd had the proper mask on.
And of course, the whip cracking around your
cracking
ear
the
whip.
And I went, what the hell am I doing here? This is insane. But anyway,
it's ridiculous.
That was a long time ago.
Can I, this gentleman here, there he is. Oh, there you are. There you are.
Over the years, you've also done other projects in between Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Such as Craig with Red Dwarf, Coronation Street, Robert with Scrap Heap Challenge. You've also did Bottom as the Falkland Soldier, and Danny did Blade 2 and Storymakers. Yeah. So how special is it when you all come back together afterwards?
Absolute nightmare. Because you go from working with like professionals, people who, you know what they're doing. You know, and then you get stuck with a pile of chances, basically. No, it's always special. I mean, I've known these guys longer than I've known my wife, and I've been married 25 years. I mean, these are the longest adult relationships that I've actually got. You know, we've been together.
We've been in this show
nearly 40 years.
Over half our lives.
You know, so. It's like coming home to... We're like 4 brothers, you know. That's why we can all take the piss out of each other and have a laugh, you know what I mean? Because it's like proper family, you know. Yeah. And yeah, you feel safe and you feel at home. And that brings out the best in you, I suppose.
Yeah, I can only concur. I agree.
Can we have that gentleman
there? Still a swat, though.
Yeah.
Hi guys, you all right?
Hiya. Hiya.
Hi. Thank you very much for coming to Newcastle, even though I came from Scotland to see you.
Oh, good on you.
So,
You've got a list of questions, haven't you?
I do. I've got my list.
Oh my God!
So many questions, but I can't ask them all.
Your surveillance notes.
You've got questions in parts, haven't you?
Yeah.
Question 1, part 1.
I do. Yeah, question right. Okay. So yeah, again, thank you for coming, and again, classic show. Loved it. It's iconic. So I went to Robert's table. I've already asked Robert your questions at the table. But I've got one for Danny and one for Craig. So done your questions. So I'll do a double for Craig and one for Danny.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a bit on question time now, isn't it?
I know. Yeah.
The mind boggles.
So I'll start with Danny. So Danny, what was your most favourite and great suit in any of the episodes? What was your most favourite suit, the sharpest suit in the episodes?
I always think that the original suit, because everything that came after that was the inspiration for the guys to, try and go further than that. I mean, I started with Hello Kitty pink zoot suit. I mean, to go up from there, you need a psycho, and Howard Burden was that guy. He just kept pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, that's... Go on, Craig.
I like my leather shorts.
Yeah. So, I'm going to laugh.
I just want to add one thing about Danny's costume, and it's not about the costume so much. It's about the length of time from when he first wore it to when he last wore it was around 34 years. And I'm not going to swear, but the thing still fitted. I couldn't even get the jeans that I wore when I was that age anywhere near. I can't even get them over my knees. It's so unfair. Danny's just unfair.
Yeah,
he wore the first suit he ever wore in the show the last time we filmed, and it was too big for him. That's annoying.
Oh man,
you're gonna have to take this in, Howard.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I still haven't quite got over the comment. I think it might have been on Twitter or something like that. It looks like Crichton has downloaded one too many apps.
Yeah, that was a very clever...
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, thank you guys. But go on.
This gentleman,
we've got another one.
Sorry, I've got one more. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, I got two for Craig. The short, quiet question. So I'll make it quick.
But it's the way you're asking the question. It just looks wrong.
Hey.
It looks wrong at so many levels.
Yeah, it does. It does.
He's like,
yeah. So, Craig.
That's how you...
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do a quick two-part question for you.
Okay.
So the first one was, I don't actually know if I'm allowed to swear. There might be kids present. But no, fair enough. I'll say hit.
Yeah.
How hard did you hit yourself with the bat and polymorph? Because you really went for it and it sounded like it bounced off your head. So.
Yeah, but it was a special bat that they made out of kind of rubber and foam. They've got a little bendable bit of metal in, and then it's kind of foam, so it's not a real bat. Oh. So you can give yourself quite a good whack with it, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It is good acting because it sounded like you really went for it. You could hear it knock. I was like, oof.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It was good fun.
My last question for you, which is, what was it like getting that kiss from the Poseidon in Poseidons? What was that like for you?
It was better than the kiss from Chris Barrie, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I mean, they always make you pay for the good bits in Red Dwarf, don't they? You know, 1 minute you're snogging a comely blonde, and the next minute she's dripping spermicidal fluid into your mouth, and it's actually a dung beetle. And yeah. And then they got to kiss that girl whose false teeth came out of my mouth. Yeah, he's not very lucky in love, old listener, is he really?
Hello, I'm George.
Hi, George.
And I'm only going to give you one
Bungle.
question.
That's Bungle and that's Zippy.
Oh, Rippy.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey.
How are you?
Easy question for you. What's the strangest or weirdest thing that happened while you were filming?
Danny remembered his lines.
That's always.
I remember
funny.
that. That was a Tuesday. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
It was a Tuesday in 1993.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a warm day.
I remember that. They gave me a certificate. I know what Robert's one is. He had a letter about where he hangs his. We can't go into deep because it was about 30 pages long.
A very long letter from an inmate.
From an interesting character.
Someone staying at then Her Majesty's pleasure. Yeah, very, very long letter about what I wear under the
Crichton costume.
The Crichton costume. Very detailed.
True story.
Long questions. But I can't think of any other.
No, he said, do you put your underpants on hangers?
Oh, yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah, that was enough. I don't want to remember it now.
Don't we all? One of the weirdest things was, Roberts complained. He's even written books about this.
Yeah.
This book's got a life of its own. Every series he adds another chapter to the book. The never-ending saga of the man in the mask, right? And we all should just get on with it. Stop crying, you knob. Right. And then in series 12, we all wore the masks for a couple of days, and we all became Crichtonized.
Yeah.
And it is the most comfortable, it's the most uncomfortable, heart-wrenching, physically demanding,
it's crazy,
uncomfortable thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Chris got ill.
I got ill.
Yeah. I nearly passed out. I was sweating out of my ears. So
sweat going down the crack of
because the
your
sweat's
back.
got nowhere to escape. So it just come out of here, and I actually filled. This is not a lie. I filled a whole pint pot with sweat coming out of my ear like that.
Mine was going
at
down.
At one stage, I thought, "Why am I crying?" And I wasn't. I was just sweating out of my eyelids. It's true. It's horrible.
It was awful. Awful.
So kudos to you, mate, because it's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
No, I thought they were very brave to do it, and they were brilliant. It was a brilliant. I mean, it was horrible to have to do, but it was a brilliant scene when everyone was crying. It was so weird.
Robert was just walking around with a smile on his face.
No, but I did feel for you because it's. Yeah, no. I mean, by then I was really used to it, and it was harder for you guys.
I was convinced, right, when we were doing the.
Actually, you should tell them where the idea came from, but we'll do that in a minute.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was.
Me and him nicked some of his masks.
It was the last day. And Robert had some leftover masks. So we were just in the makeup, and I put one on, and we just look. It was really funny, and then I said to Andrea, I said, spray it my colour, right? So she sprayed me, and then Craig put one on and sprayed him. So we went and kicked in the door of the production office, booted it in. And there was me and Craig standing there as Crichton. So I did a West Indian accent. Mine was West Indian. and I don't know what you did, but Doug's face was just red, eyes open wide.
I'd actually been saying it for a few years that we should all...
Yeah, it was a story.
I think it's a great story, isn't it?
There was that one, and then the other one, which we obviously couldn't, was the cast got hit with the gay ray. That was an idea.
It was a different time in the 90s.
It was different times.
There were different times in the 90s. That doesn't fly now.
But you could do that now. We would just say, it would be Red Dwarf as defined by themselves.
Can we have one more question? We've got one more question.
Hi there. So first of all, I want to say thank you for 36 years. Big fan from episode 1. And if you cut my arms off, I'd bleed beer milkshake. That's kind of how much in my DNA you all are. So my question is actually for Danny.
Uh-oh.
If today you were given the scripts for Red Dwarf and Death in Paradise together and you had to pick one, which would you go for? I'd say sorry, but you would both.
I would love to answer this honestly, but I won't. There's money involved. So, but no. You know what? Nicer studio, nicer cast. No, of course not. Listen, the only reason I got Death in Paradise is because of Red Dwarf. And they even gave me the same name as one of the other characters.
Yeah, Dwayne.
Because the guy who writes it was a Red Dwarf fan, and he denied that there was any influence with... bullshit. He's an Essex boy, typical, isn't it? You know.
But Dan, what's the name of the producer?
Tony Jordan.
So I had dinner with Tony Jordan, who's the producer of the show, and he said, and he said, right, wide boy Cockney, isn't he?
Yeah,
What's the most common thing you hear on the set of Red Dwarf? And I said, well, I suppose it's Where's Danny?
Yeah.
And he went, do you know what the most common thing you hear on the set of Death in Paradise? It's Where's Danny?
Where's Danny?
But then I can't repeat the whole thing. But we're working on a beep, beep, beep island. There's nowhere to beep go.
Yeah. No, Tony's he's funny. He used to be a market trader down south, and he conned his way into the BBC to write, because his mate was trying to be a writer, and he you know that one, he says, mate, you're wasting your time and all that. Anyone can do that, and and so his mate went and go on then, and he did. He wrote a script and sent it in. He didn't even know the address. He just put BBC London. About a month later, he was writing for EastEnders. So 4 years later, he walked in. He said, I got a confession to make. I'm not a Cockney. So they goes, okay, you be producer. And then that's so all them shows that came later, Life on Mars, Ashes to Ashes, Hustle, etc., etc. Death in Paradise. Yeah. Con Man.
We're going to have to wrap it up, I'm afraid. We've got a tight schedule.
Craig, you're going to have to rap.
Yeah. Can we...
What was that one you did? Snot rap, wasn't it? Oh, God.
No.
He cannot do that.
Listen, it's been nice chatting to you, though. It's been nice, hasn't it? I don't really do many of these. It's only not because I don't want to. It's just I work at weekends. You know what I mean?
He's always busy.
I was playing Sunderland last night. I just like so. I work weekends, but when I actually come and do one, I think, wow, I'm missing a lot. Really, it's good fun, isn't it?
No, it's lovely.
He did a gig in Colchester. I had to pay to get in.
Yeah, you don't get in free. No.
I had to pay to get in. I got to, I did. I got to his dressing room, right? The promoter was in there. I got to his dressing room. He wasn't there, of course, at that time. So I just opened up his champagne and drank and filmed it. You ain't seen the film yet. I'm going to show it to you.
Yeah, the security guy got sacked because of that.
Exactly. When we left, we saw him
for the champagne, just for letting you in.
We saw him tied to a tree in the car park.
We could sit here.
And a Mercedes speeding off.
I hate the rap because we could sit here all afternoon, couldn't we? We could sit here for a lot longer. We've got a very tight schedule.
No, we couldn't.
But we're not. I'm enjoying this.
Honestly, thank you for...
Round of applause for Danny, Robert and Craig, everybody.
Thank you.
Yay!